Hey folks, Chris Rockwell here. It's July 18th, Thursday, about 10 o'clock. Been watching some different things this morning and reading and doing my typical early morning deep dives and pondering the absolute circus of the fraud squad. Yeah, I just came up with that today. I like it. Fraud squad. I picture like a comic, little comic. I think Colton and I could create a comic series of the Fraud Squad. That would be pretty hilarious. A little shorts on YouTube. I'll have to work on that. Anyway, so here's my take. A couple of things, a couple of important points. They are absolutely continuing. The Democrats and this fraud squad are simply individuals who are all paid by different lobbyist groups. Some are connected, some are totally separate with totally different agendas. And the problem that you are observing, like me, is that there's no cohesion. None, because what happens if you are selling an idea that you are not financially backed by, and you have a different philosophy of life than what you're selling to the public, like all of these Democrats are, especially the far left radicals like the Fraud Squad girls, and the rest of primarily most of these Democrat candidates that are running for president. I mean, they're really not impressive. They're just not impressive. And they're pulling out these little sticks of virtue signaling, shaming, and on the Republicans, but what's happening is they are truly like crabs in a barrel or in a bucket. They're crabs in a barrel. They are literally pulling the top ones down and ripping their legs off and destroying each other. It's a massacre, you guys. This is a massacre within the Democrat group of underperformers that are. It's like watching. It's like watching a really bad play at a high school. I remember my dad was a high school counselor and a teacher, and we used to go to these. Once in a while, we'd go to a play or an event when I was a little kid, because we were we knew a lot of the families and the kids that would be involved in the sports and the plays and events and things like that. And my dad sometimes would go check it out. Anyway, I remember just watching these plays as a kid. I went to like one or two, it wasn't like a lot, at the high school, and I was probably 4 or 5, and I remember going, man, this is terrible. I'm like, what? Did they even really rehearse? But anyway, it's kind of like that. It's like, man, these candidates are terrible. And the freshman fraud squad, I got to tell you, I love women and I respect women. Anybody who knows me knows that. I mean, look at my walk is much more consistent than my talk, which it's typically the other way around. But, my intentions and my actions, especially nowadays, are and for the most part of my life, they've been pretty consistent. But to watch people who are trying to desperately sell either condemnation or a new idea that's better than what's fundamentally working very well, and pitching an idea that's fundamentally destructive to America at its core, that makes no sense. Like, that's not, I'm trying to stay on point with this because there's a lot of lessons to be learned here, and you know what I'm trying to do even with myself, and I try to talk to, you know, to others about this, but it's for myself more than anybody, is I try to find the similarities in some of these behaviors that are self-interest and manipulative and destructive. And you know, I'm not free of that, just like anybody else. So what I think we do see when we watch these debates and we watch, you know, the political war back and forth, but coming, you know, from the this far radical left, what I am witnessing is that all of the wheels are falling off an old game plan that the Democrats started to use during the civil rights, and they were able to kind of leverage that and you know, go back to the same game plan, make a couple adjustments, you know, every couple of you know, every decade or so, and but basically it was the same concept. It was an envy driven, virtue signaling, you know, guilting people into being part of that new party when the Democrat Party was taken over. So from actually good people, like the FDR days, you know, and that's the problem. You know, the white working class, even today, a lot of folks still think, you know, in my own family, still think, you know, the Democrats represent, you know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the New Deal back in, you know, bringing us out of the Great Recession, or not the Great Recession, the Great Depression. I lived through the Great Recession. My grandpa and my family's, you know, part of my family's went through the Great Depression, and that is something that the Democrats through Franklin Roosevelt created a lasting legacy that bad people extorted and infiltrated, and now you're seeing the results after the Clintons and the Obamas, and I mean, I can go on and on further back, the Carter regime, and I mean some really bad folks, you know, nice smiles and they seem nice and all, but criminal, fully criminal. So at the end of the day, the Democrats are destroying any chance they have for 2020. They are, again, back to the fraud squad. You know, it is coming out now, and most of you who are paying attention, you know, this Omar woman, she not only has, you know, her father's not only a war criminal from Somalia, but she married her brother to come to America. So, these are the foundations these people are standing on, throwing massive stones inside of a glass house that they think it's made out of plexiglass or something. These people are just absolutely clueless, and you know, this is also a statement to the parents and kids of this new era. You know, you're not entitled to shit. Get over it. And if that hurts your feelings, then you are also as delusional as what is happening with the Democrats. You're allowing your ego, your pride, your sensitive pride and ego, and your status inside of your little clique group to want to prove that you care more than even your own friends do. That's competitive. That's not unity. So I think that's what half of the world kind of doesn't get, especially in the United States. You know, I have family that even come up to me and smile and act like they're my friend, but their actions never show that. It's you know, people are not dumb. People can sense intention much more easily than manipulative people understand. So, you know, and I think the Democrats could learn a lot from that statement. and the people, especially liberals, who stand in their glass houses and don't give to others really. They give to their little selfish concept of their world and whatever's inside of that, but not outside of it. And then they judge the rest of the world to somehow do something that they're not doing. And I grew up with it. I grew up in California with it. I worked in an industry that was drenched in it, and it's not honest. It's not real, and it's it's very selfish, and it takes away from doing good work and working with and building up other people. So the thing that I love about the direction of the country and the attitude and the spirit that Trump brings and is injecting into the country. I'm not saying all of it is great. No great head coach in football was the epitome of a perfect man. I am not an epitome. I'm no ideal man myself, nor do I claim to be, nor do I want to be, because there's no such thing. Okay, so to be able to try to pick apart the things that we all share or to some degree have, because we're all human, that's what I'm talking about. Competitive analysis is good. I do it all day long. I do it to myself. I try to work hard and get better. But at the end of the day, what I'm also experiencing is that by seeing the best in people and coming up with ideas without limits and without quotas condemning me for the idea before it gets started, we are now building with momentum and excitement that is way beyond me with our new technology company. And oh, by the way, action speaks louder than words. Back to the fraud squad. In our case, we are a female majority owned green technology company that truly is changing the world and the economy for an emerging global market. That's what I'm doing. That's what my team is doing. We don't have to condemn others to create massive value. That's the point. That's what Trump is doing without question. It's not even a question. So that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm also very excited to announce some book update stuff that I will leave as a teaser right now, and I will record another video, and I'll dig into the exciting details about what's coming up with the book. So anyway, folks, so much good things in life because I choose to see it that way. Hope you do too, and have a great day, and let's keep on trucking. All right, take care.